Okay.
Ah,
Sorry.
that was great.
Seal tier term Ricks. Hmm. He said,
Seattle
"N-
Armrix. I don't know.
no,
Yeah.
that's seal T. I don't know. Seal tear. I don't know. I'm not
Okay.
doing it. Normalize telling your homies if a clip they got could be better to their ability. Yeah. Okay. This goes further than skating.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Okay. Hang on. Okay.
Okay.
This goes further than skating. This is actually I'm about to get a little preachy for a minute there, but I think what we struggle as humans, we it's either being polite and maybe not being honest so much for the sake of being polite and sparing someone's feelings, or being very blunt without consideration for the other person's feelings, and then all the space in between, right? In that space. Um, as I think, Austin, I think we can say that typically grow in New York, at least in the era where we grew up in New York. New York changes every 5 or 10 years, but being blunt and being forthright was kind of like it's something like you would do was normal, and we very much appreciate it. We used to bust on each other skating all day. If you came off the trick a certain way, we were not shy to let each other know about it. We were not shy to kind of needle each other about certain you know faults in the skating. um that being said, I think it's like there's an approach to things. You know what I mean? You don't want to come off like the most honest guy in the world, which can be like, it could come off a little insensitive at times. You know
Might
what I
make
mean?
more
But
more enemies in that case.
but no, I think my point is like if you don't have someone that can be honest with you, then you need to work on your friendship. Because and that's kind of like a deeper it's kind of like a deeper analysis on like what's meant to be like a skating hot take thing. But yeah, like if you can't express what you're feeling or what you're thinking to your friend, then you may not be as good as friends as you think. Like and you can maybe start experimenting on those levels and pushing with being honest, because um, like my closest friends, I prefer them to be honest than polite, because I want to hear the things that no one's gonna really say.
Of
You know
course.
what I mean?
Hmm.
And because it makes me aware of those things that I might not have been previously aware of. Okay, perfect example. Um, I had some really tough friends who were tough on me when I was growing up skating. They were older, they were better than me, and they were hitting rails before I was able to hit rails. Okay. So I was like, I'm gonna learn how to hit rails and shove it in these guys' faces, because they would always bust on me because I couldn't hit rails. So I basically went and I learned how to hit a rail. And I was like, I can't wait to show these guys. So I come and I show these guys. I said, hey, I learned how to hit rails. Want to see? Boom, check it out. So I go, I hit the rail, and they came up to me and they're like, yo, you stepped on that. You didn't even jump on it. Yo, he 1-2'd. He did one foot and then the other foot. We're gonna call him 1-2 Bill. Yo, what's up, 1-2 Bill? So they're calling me. I thought I was so proud of myself. I was able to jump on a rail, but I wasn't jumping off with both feet. I was jumping like 1-2, like
Yeah.
onto the rail, kind of stepping on, you know.
Like a
Um,
leap.
but it made me, without that, I wouldn't have been aware. If I had this like some like extra street like supportive friends that were like, "Yeah, dude, you did it! Like you jumped on the rail, yeah." I probably would have like done them incorrectly for like much longer of a time. But because they were mean and nasty to me, I was able
Because
to
they
be
were New
like, "Oh, I
Yorkers.
I gotta stop this." And I mean, and it that kind of energy, like you saw that a lot in Philly. Like the older guys were tough on the younger guys, and then but you can kind of see it in their skating. Like it kind of brings excellence, right? Like it makes the person either sink or swim. So that being said, it depends the environment in which you're trying to skate, what atmosphere the person is looking for. If the person's just looking out there trying to skate and have fun, and they're not trying to take it like each clip like very seriously, then I don't think you have to. You don't have to like be like you should do it like this, you should do it like that. But if the person's really trying to bring the best out of themselves and the best trick out of themselves possible, the filmer and the skater should have this symbiotic relationship where they're able to express honestly like because you're trying to get the best end product, and that would be the way to get there, right? Austin, I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. Honesty in friendship is key. In any relationship is key. It's like saying, it's like the people who, if your friend has something stuck in their teeth and you don't tell them, like, what kind of friend are you? You know, it's the same. It's the same thing in my eyes. Like, you're gonna tell
Yeah.
somebody you're talking to, like, yo, something's in your teeth. You want to get rid of
Yeah.
that? And they're like, okay, thank you. I would have walked around all day with like this piece of broccoli stuck in my tooth. You know?
Okay, let me tell you something. Okay. So I normally do in morning coffee, and when I sip it out of this side, and I'll get like a little coffee stain, like right here, because like I'm just like
On one
drinking
side.
coffee. On one side, like sometimes if I'm like not paying attention.
uh
My man Parker Richardson, he let me like rock around all day with that, and then John showed up. And he's like, "Oh, Bill!" Like right when John showed up, he's like, "You have this thing right here." And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Parker, I've been with you all day. Why haven't you said anything?" He's like, "Oh, you always have that there."
You always
That's what he said.
like it was a birthmark,
That's
like you were born.
That's what he said, dude. Dude, that really hurt. That really and so I think actually after this podcast, I have to sit Parker down and tell him what I expect from him as a friend, like, you know.
Parker, yes, please be a little bit
But be
more
honest
with
with
your friends.
be honest with your friends, but with a touch of sensitivity, you know.
You just got to know. I mean, if it's your friend, you know how your friends are. Like me and Billy, we know how to talk to each other, like to not be a dick to each other.
Different
you know,
friends, you can be different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I feel like it goes, if you're gonna, especially if you're filming something, you want to like have someone do something the best they can, because if something was wrong, you're gonna look back on that clip and be like, damn, I wish I did it better. But you can't do nothing about it now because you filmed it already. It's out there, whatever you posted it, or it's in a video or some shit. But if you're telling somebody and you're honest with somebody at the time, like, fix this, your foot wobbled a little bit, you didn't grab really or whatever, you could fix it on the spot, and boom, now you can live with yourself. Because I've had clips back in the day where there were certain things, little nuances I didn't like about it. I wish I went back and fixed them. So looking back on those moments sucks. And
Yes.
you know what I mean?
You want it, like, and that's the thing. You both people going out have to know what they're going for and what the intention is. But if the intention is to produce the best possible thing that you can between the both of you, the filmer and the subject, then you need that, because you can look back. I've done that so many times. I looked up back at tricks like, if I would have just did this different, and it's gone. It's a moment in time that's passed, and it's just like, yeah, like, create a culture and a relationship where, look, being supportive and encouraging is great. It's fine. Like, you know what I mean? It could also be to the point where you're not able to express like what's real and what's happening. So a balance is important. Just like establish some kind of culture relationship in your friend group where, like, if you are expressing these things in like in a normal way, that it's not coming from a place of malice or to hurt or someone to attack, but it's to bring out the best that you can out of one another, right? And that's what the filmer skater relationship should be when it's at its peak, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, we just had Colin Kelso on the last episode, and we were talking about the synergy between him and his brother Sean, because they make all the basement videos together, and they've been filming together since they were little kids. You know, they started skating, and they have that perfect balance too. That's why almost everything they do, every video they make, every trick they film is perfect, because they're not scared to call each other out. They know how each other work. They're like, you should fix that. This was wrong with this. And they you know, me and you both seen it firsthand too. They pinpointed it right off the bat. They get into fights about it, but in the end,
so jealous of brothers though, because like I saw it with like Jimmy Coburn and Taylor Coburn on like RV There Yet, and like in New York.
Oh yeah,
like, so Jimmy, like, you know, he's like the homie, like, but like, he's a Jersey guy. He's like a tough guy, like, you know what I mean. He's like a strong dude and stuff like that, and, you know, he's like the kind of guy, when you talk to him, you want to talk to him like with, like, you know, like you talk to all people, like with respect and things like that. Like, not just for how his size is, but just how you would be with people. But it's funny, like, seeing him and his brother work together. Like, he would like lace a trick, and Terry would be like, you gonna do that again? Or like, do you know what I mean? We're like, yo, like, do you know what I mean?
but they know each other that way. Like, they know that he could do it better. Like, someone else might not know that well.
Look what that relationship cultivates.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at everything the basement has done.
Yeah.
It
Exactly.
comes from that. That's that level of excellence that our two brothers who are extremely talented pushing themselves and not giving them each other much of that other like charitable space, like to be like, oh yeah, they're like, no, dude, like, and what happens in those environments is you bring the best out of each other.
Yeah.
It's like that healthy competition, that healthy push. There are areas where it could be unhealthy and toxic and stuff like that, but I think generally, if applied right, it's an attitude that cultivates excellence. It brings the best out of people.